In theory, everything should be great for Ethereum because since the move from proof of work to proof of stake, its tokenomics have improved a lot. As in, the newly issued supply has drastically come down. Without that merge, we would now have 18 million more Ethereum floating. But because of the merge, we only have 1 million that has been added to the supply. Yet, since that merge, Ethereum performed much worse than Bitcoin. It barely moved, it only appreciated by 18%, while Bitcoin tripled roughly. This is then how that looks like on a long-term relative valuation chart. So what we look at over here is the Ethereum market cap relative to the Bitcoin market cap, and it tends to trade in a range. Now this arrow over here, that was the move from proof of work to proof of stake. Ethereum underperformed Bitcoin by almost 70%, even though the tokenomics improved so much. Who is selling over here? Is this people that are staking Ethereum? The answer is clearly no, because this is the percent of the entire ETH supply that's being staked. Yes, this is not growing at the same rate that it used to, but there's also no outflows here. So it's not like many people are unstaking their ETH and suddenly moving that supply en masses into circulating supply and dumping this on everybody. So what has changed here? Why is Ethereum performing that poorly? Now, one point is that because of the move from proof of work to proof of stake, there's also much less transaction fees that get generated. Ethereum's fee revenue has collapsed by 98%. In 2021, we had 1 billion of transaction fees in a single month. Then we had several upgrades and now we are only at 15 million per month. Now let's zoom into this chart here. Bitcoin relative to Ethereum. Now this seems to be a potential opportunity. Maybe we can bet on falling prices of Ethereum, at least relative to Bitcoin. So a short on ETH, a long on BTC, we play the delta. If we just stay within that trading range, we might be outperforming with that position by roughly 17%. The problem is that the people that are involved in the ecosystem have less and less reason to be excited. A drop in all of those fees, be this transaction fees or be this fees that the layer 2s pay Ethereum. It's good on the surface because it should incentivize more usage. But when the usage is not coming, then a reduction in price or in fees is just a problem. Imagine you run a business, you reduce your prices all the time, yet you don't see more customers. That's pretty much what's going on with Ethereum now. Using Ethereum has become cheaper. That does not mean that Ethereum is used more. Now let's zoom a bit more into this chart. ETH relative to BTC, we are exactly at the potential turnaround. Now is the time to bet on a short and potentially set a very tight stop loss, right? If we don't fall further from here, if Ethereum was just to outperform Bitcoin by another 2%, then that might already be our signal that this trend will not continue. But I do think it will continue, right? Just have a look at how many data points we have here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 confirmations on the top line and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 confirmations on the bottom line. This is an extremely strong trend and we are very close to the resistance. And we can play a pretty tight, highly levered stop loss game. If we get stopped out, so be it. If we don't get stopped out with the right leverage, there is potentially a multiple X here. Again, by going short Ethereum and long Bitcoin at the same time. Yes, Ethereum still leads decentralized finance. It's got most total value locked. Way more than Solana, way more than BNB. And so I do think at some point it does make sense to buy Ethereum again. But that point is not right now. That point is after Ethereum has declined versus Bitcoin by another 34%. That's historically where Ethereum bounced. It's also when it bounced after Tom Lee started buying ETH. So that's the Treasury company story. The problem is that the Treasury company story has definitely died down. Here is the percent of Ethereum that is held by those treasury companies. It continues to get accumulated, but not anymore at the same pace up until the pace that we have seen until September of last year. And that's exactly and Ethereum started to underperform. Yeah, so let's see how this video ages. In the short term, I'm definitely not bullish on Ethereum. This trend channel has been respected quite frequently. I don't know what kind of story could turn this around right now. The valuation versus Bitcoin isn't yet cheap enough. But I'm very much looking forward to your comments. If you think there is a catalyst that might turn things around already right now. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish this regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you next time. Cheers.